Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. I have been asked by one of my professors, Moira Denson, to create a video on how to use Morpholio Trace on an iPad and an iPad Pro. Today we will start with the assumption that you've already downloaded the application. I'm going to click on the Morpholio Trace app, which will take me to the main home screen, which is where you have all of your existing projects, and you can either choose to go into one and continue working, or you can start anew. Today we will be starting a new project. So first of all, we can do a couple different things. If you have downloaded the Pro, you could be able to create a project folder. This you can name and have multiple different iterations of drawings or variety of different types of drawings to create a presentation for our client. Today we will be actually just starting with drawing one document from blank form. So we're going to press the plus sign right here and we'll have a start a new project. In the Pro form you have access to a variety of different options of projects that you can undertake, but today we're going to do a blank document. The blank document will be a white piece of paper. As you can see, it is in portrait view. You have items such as the background layer, which is the very bottom layer, which cannot be moved, adjusted, or deleted. The second is your layer that immediately comes right after. While we're talking about layers, you can add a layer, which is really important, but to show you that, I'm going to actually draw a line. In the basic view, you will have access to an ultra-fine marker. We're going to work with that primarily today so that you can see how that works. Right now, I have my top layer selected because it's in yellow. I double-clicked to do that. While I'm there, I'm going to pick my color, which I'm going to pick black for the ease. As you can see, when I change my color by tapping, it changes right here. This color is going to determine what you're going to draw with. So we're going to choose black. What I'm doing today is I'm creating an outline. And let's say I want to draw my lovely plants right here on the side. From the view that you guys are seeing, you will see some leaves, going in a variety of different directions, and it's fine to be gestural with your lines. Just doing a quick leaf drawing just to show how it falls on the item, on the paper. Now this particular one has been drawn with a very light opacity. You can toggle with your opacity right here on the side. So right below, right to the left of the colors, you have this slide bar, which increases and decreases the opacity. I was at around 26% originally. Now let's go to 61% and see what that does. You can see how much harder this line is now, but we're able to get a nice clean overlay, and in some areas, by using two fingers, you can zoom in, but in some areas you can see where the color has overlapped and it's gotten darker. This is something where we layer transparency, and you can have seen that with your markers in real life or with your watercolors and how that layers. Zooming back out to see the whole bottle, we can now see where the lines are heaviest and where the lines are darkest. So we've adjusted opacity so far, we've talked about color, and we've talked about layers. Additionally, we might want to also look at the size of a marker, or in this case, the fine tip. I'm going to lower the opacity down again so we can see how this layers. So I moved it down to 22%. And so I have now given myself a larger marker nub to draw with. I chose a 25.6. I did all of that gray without lifting my pencil, and that is why it's all one unified tone. If I go back in around this edge, I am now adding a secondary tone, which is darker because it's overlaying on that spot. But if I move up here, you can see that that color is the original tone, and where it overlaps is darker. I don't really like that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the undo button, or erase. This is the undo, and I can always step forward, step back, step forward, step back. I think I want to step forward because I like that shadow that I've created. Let's throw in a couple more shadows around the leaves just to give a little bit more of a gestural look with some shadow and value. Very nice. Keep it easy. Don't overthink it because this is supposed to be fun. We're just now learning what to do. As you can see, there's one more leaf over here that I just want to throw in, make it a little bit more noticeable. There we go. Additionally, we have the option to erase. In the basic format, you will also have the option to erase. We're going to click on the eraser button, which is a little eraser nub on a piece of paper. I think I'm going to want to be around the same size that I'm currently using, which is the 25.6. And this will give me the ability to really sort of remove any unnecessary lines that I think I have, and give myself a cleaner edge if necessary. You can also use them within the item that you're working on, like so, to really clean up your lines or remove a whole patch of color. Now, like Photoshop, there are layers, and we briefly discussed them. When we want to add a new layer, we're going to click on the paper plus symbol. So we click on this, and as you can see, it has put down a yellow piece of paper. It's almost considered a yellow tracing paper. We have yellow tracing paper and white tracing paper in real life, but we want to change it to be a white tracing paper. So what we do is we click on the three dots next to the layer, and we move and we click onto white. And if we keep it on normal, the items that we do will overlay opaquely on top of our previous layers. If we have a lighter opacity, then you will be able to see the layers below. If we would like to work in a heavier option, but still see our lines below, we'll change it from normal to multiply. That is the same item that would be used, the same tool that would be chosen in Photoshop. So I'm going to say OK by clicking the check mark. And to get out of my paper, I just click on the three dots again, and it's gone. Now that I have this layer above the layer with the outline of my leaves and my bottle, I'm going to actually click back on my marker, my ultrafine tip marker, and I'm going to actually pick one of the greens that they have preset for me. Here, I'm still keeping my opacity where it is, and I might change it to the 1810 marker size. And so from here, I'm just going to maybe throw in a little bit of green. I think that might be a little too translucent. What do you think? Maybe we add a little bit more opacity. Maybe go back to that 65 that we were talking about. And we throw in a little bit more opacity. We're getting a little bit more of that green. It's very interesting how that's laying. And as you can see, as I'm going back and forth, you can see this sort of interesting, I'm going to show it and I'm going to erase it in a second. As I go back and forth, it's making some smart decisions on its own of how that line should really look. But I'm going to erase that because I don't want that there. Another thing that you might not be able to see is that I have the paper screen protector. That is the paper feel screen protector that gives you a nice matte finish.